with Retreat to Coralhelm. Lets us kind of combo off and win with that. So we don't actually have an Emrakul, but I don't know if we actually need an Emrakul because of that. So that's what we're doing with this deck. Anyone got any guesses on what will happen to the modern ban list next week? My guess would be nothing. My hope would be possibly Become Immense or Inkmoth Nexus, but my guess would be that nothing happens. Nahiri is also pretty good at just shooting down enchantments, which is kind of relevant. So why no evolution? So I haven't played much with this deck. I'm going directly with the list that Eli's been playing and top 8ing with. So I haven't really messed around with building or changing the deck yet. So I'm just going with that for now. But we'll see. Maybe we'll decide. Oh no, not Ayavugan. Oh, that's... Ayavugan for me now is down with, like the artifact lands in terms of how much I think they would be safe for the format. I think they're really... it's really unsafe. Like Skull Clamp territory. Because Eldrazi is already kind of dominating the format. Not dominating, but it's already a tier 1 deck in the format. If it had Ayavugan again, we would be right back to all Eldrazi all the time. I could see an argument. The cards I've been hearing the biggest arguments for is Bloodbraid Elf. I could also see an argument for Jace. Seems unlikely. I worry about Preordain, Ponder, and those cards. The problem is, I think they just make Infect and those kind of decks even better. Like, yeah, it's probably pretty sweet for control decks and other blue decks and would give them a boost, but it would give a big boost to the other unfair blue decks in the format, like Infect as well. Anything I want unbanned. I would like to see Jace unbanned, just as an experiment. I really don't think Jace would be that dominant. I honestly don't think it would be that good. I mean, it's a good card and it would be good, but we're in a format where decks are built around killing you on turn 3, turn 3.5. I don't know if Jace would have much of a place in a format with Affinity, with Infect, with those kind of cards. So I just think it would get overrun. I mean, I think decks would play it. If you're playing, like, the Nahiri Jeskai decks, there are decks would be able to take advantage of it, and it would help those decks. But I think with the current meta, if you just look at it, Jace isn't that great against a lot of the stuff that's happening in the format. Burn, Infect, Death Shadow Zoo, all those things. So, Dr. Robot Rick, thank you for the follow. I don't know about Bloodbraid Elf. That's true. Stake Sisters, Jace would not have a chance. Deathrite, the argument I see for Bloodbraid Elf being okay is that the real problem with Jund was Deathrite. That was the problem to begin with. So I think it might be safe to have Bloodbraid Elf in the format. It's still a really good card, and it might be too good. But if they had banned Deathrite Shaman to begin with, it's possible they never would have banned Bloodbraid Elf. Oh, thank you, Follosaurus or something, for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Preordain would be sweet. I would like better cantrips. I just worry about what it does for the really combo-y aggressive decks. Frozen Fruit Punch, going well. Welcome. So I don't know. My guess is we don't see any major changes. Something could sneak off the ban list, like Bloodbraid Elf. Jace would be a shocker, but I don't think it's 0% that they unban Jace. But I think the most likely thing to happen will be no changes. Most likely card to get banned is probably Become Immense. Captor Zen Zero, thank you for the follow. So I think Become Immense would be the most likely card to get banned, although I would rather see... Hey, Twitch banned me 3 times. You really haven't followed before? I've seen you in here a million times, Twitch. Well, thank you for the follow. I guess I just assumed that you already followed. Oh, no. Brainstorm cannot be banned in Legacy. Please, no. Brainstorm is what makes Legacy Legacy. If they ban it, it would just... The whole format is different. And not nearly as fun, I don't think. Ace of Blades, thank you for the follow. Brainstorm is what lets Legacy decks play so many crazy one-ofs and do so many powerful things, because with fetch lands, you can still find your pieces when you need them, even though you're not playing 4 of them. Matt Johnson, thank you for the follow. Grave Troll is a really interesting one to argue about. Because Dredge, like, they unbanned Grave Troll, nothing happened. Then Dredge kind of jumped up to tier 1 for a short time, and then it's kind of fallen back down a little bit. Level 1, thank you for the follow. I mean, it's still playable, but it's not as good as it was a month ago even. Because I think it really is, like in Legacy, once people play Sideboard Hate, you can beat Dredge. H-Dog, thank you for the follow. What do I think of about mass unbanning things to raise the power level of decks across the board? That would be interesting. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the Stake Sisters videos, Wilm. It would be interesting to see what happened if they did that, but some stuff is just, oh. Aggravated Assault, thank you for the follow. Like Skull Clamp and the Artifact lands are just so busted. Nexus, thank you for the follow. So that's what I would worry about, is there's some cards that we know are broken, and taking those off the ban list, even as like a test, is sort of risky. Is it annoying to play Soul Sisters in paper? I would actually argue that it's less annoying, because you can just be like, oh, this enters, I gain a life from each of these creatures, so I'm up 3 life. When in Magic Online, you physically have to stack every single trigger every single time. So in some ways, I think it's less cumbersome to play a deck like Soul Sisters on in the paper world. Might sound weird, but I think that's true. Ugh. Well, drawing lands is not what we wanted after keeping this hand. What's the solution to Modern between current power or escalate dominance of force? Wait, did I read that wrong? What's the solution to Modern between the current power escalation or blue dominance with Force of Will and Legacy? I don't know. A Force of Will type card is something I think could be helpful for the format, but it's risky. I mean, it's definitely risky. So the problem with printing a Force of Will, like, it helps decks stay alive past turn 3, which is one of my biggest problems with Modern right now, is there's just so many decks that kill you before turn 4 that a lot of stuff that's really sweet and fun doesn't work. But if you put Force of Will in the format, then a lot of those decks will also play Force of Will, and it'll just be like Force of Will battles. Counterspell, Daze maybe, Flusterstorm, something along those lines I could see being a good solution. I think literal Force of Will would be risky, though. What do I think of using Thopter Sword in Soul Sisters with a Jeskai shell? I have not even considered that. It's an interesting idea. What does it really do for the deck, though? Will I get Mana Tithe today? The answer is probably. Our opponent drew into Tron off of their scrying. Now they get to take probably Path, I would guess. I guess they take Path and then counter our Collected Company. I like Blue Tron alright. I actually am less unhappy playing against Blue Tron than I am playing against Red Green Tron. Rig Jiggles, thank you for the follow. The problem with the other versions of Tron is they're just so good at putting together Tron. At least with this Tron, it takes them a while sometimes. They just don't auto-Tron every single game. What do I think about Esper mid-range in Standard? I'm excited for like a blue-white or Esper control. I could see mid-range working as